Right. Cool. All right, and just again, while I'm just kind of going over some about me slides and all that sort of fun stuff, I'm going to breeze through. There's a couple things. They're not really prerequisites, but it's more like if you want to follow along in the workshop and actually be messing around yourself, which I recommend. There's a couple of things that you need. I'm actually just gonna, well, maybe I'll just like copy these and put them in the chat here. So by oops. And I have this link in case you need to run Node on your Windows machines. If you have Linux already set up, or if you are on a Mac, then this should be no problem. But yeah, you'll need a way to run Node.js, edit your code, and then if you have a ChatGPT account there, they should be free. I paid for it, so I'm for the plus just because it's a little faster, but that is definitely not necessary. And then if you want to actually deploy at the very end, we're going to try to actually deploy this. It's live on the internet. So you get like a GitHub account or Vercel is a really quick way that I'm probably going to use just because it takes like 3 minutes. But yeah, these things you can kind of do in the background while I go over some stuff. So I will present. This is building an engineering portfolio website. We're going to use React and we're going to use ChatGPT. We're basically just going to mess around until ChatGPT spits out code that makes sense. And we're going to just do a bunch of copying and pasting. We probably won't actually do that much coding, but that's the beauty of these tools. Again, yeah, those prerequisites. I have some fun images that I was just generating in the spirit of the AI-ness, like this one with some funky hackers. Yeah, here's the agenda. I'll just do a quick intro, talk about what we're going to accomplish in this workshop, why having a portfolio website is cool. Talk about React just really briefly at a high level and ChatGPT at a high level before we want to spend most of the time actually building some stuff and seeing what we can do. That's the agenda. Definitely feel free to like interrupt me at any time. I'm not precious about it. If you have questions, if you need help getting set up, and we can dive into it. This is supposed to be for y'all. So please interrupt me and when you have questions. Cool. This is me. I'm Keenan. I use he, him pronouns. I live in San Francisco now. I graduated in 2018, which is wild. I'm coming up on my 5-year, which is, yeah, it feels weird to say. I actually just had a dream about Olin yesterday, which is funny enough, and which took place in the dining hall. So I don't know, but I just miss, I guess, buffets for breakfast all the time. But yeah, I self-designed my major. It was called human-centered computing. It was basically you would see, but instead of doing Sophos, I put in, at the time it was HBIT, I think it's called UCD now. And then, did some other stuff. I did my Oz concentration in like graphic design. Right now I'm a software engineer at Kojo. It's a startup in the construction technology space. I used to work at Lever, which is an Olin founded startup. Shout out to Nate Smith. They just actually got acquired last year, which is pretty exciting. So big exit for some Oliners, which was exciting. And at Olin, I did some stuff. Was an R2 my sophomore year, which is super fun. Did Baja, helped run Slack, was on OPM, that sort of stuff. And I like messing around with all these new AI tools coming out. I asked for Olin College of Engineering and got these two, among some others, which I thought were pretty cool. We got, just to imagine if Olin was that big. I love the one on the right. I think, just this mega roof, and it kind of looks like Olin a little bit, the kind of shape of the buildings aren't too wrong on the right side, but just mega roof, I think is pretty sweet. So maybe Olin needs to do a little construction. And in the vein of ChatGPT, I asked like, okay, cool. Why should I teach a workshop? And it spit out some really convincing answers. So this is really all the tools that I needed. I'm going to help. Yeah, portfolio website, valuable skill for students. I can help equip students with tools they need to showcase their skills. I mean, that's just beautiful. They connect with the Olin community, all that fun stuff. But yeah, what we'll accomplish today, we're going to learn about React, we're going to learn about ChatGPT, we're going to create a functional website, and we're going to push it to a live URL by the end, hopefully. We have about an hour 15 left. I think we'll be able to do it, or at least get really close. And we're just going to mess around with the AI a bunch. It's fun. Look at these images that you can spit out. Look at these freaky hands. Look at all this code. It hopefully won't be this messy, but it also might be this messy. Yeah, this could be a couple more. Great. Cool. Any questions so far, or any setup questions, or folks getting those prerequisites downloaded in the background if they haven't?
if you're on a Ubuntu system, do you need those prerequisites? Like, is it already installed with Ubuntu?
I don't know if Node is installed by default. I don't think it is. So yeah, maybe just Google like Node install.
And if that's the case, like, is it just like sudo apt install Node.js? Like,
Let's see. Yeah. I haven't used Linux since Olin really. It
nice.
looks like it. Yeah, it looks like it. And so basically,
Maybe
like, you want to
ChatGPT
test.
can tell us.
It probably could, yeah. But one thing to test, if you just go to your terminal and just do node-v, which will be which is version. If it spits out something like this, then good. It doesn't really matter the version. If it says, cannot find node, then you'll need to install it. Yeah, great.
Oh, yeah, it actually prompted me with an apt install command. Okay, so here we go.
Perfect. Yeah, cool. All right. Cool. I'll just keep going here. You can keep downloading those things in the background. Yeah, why have a portfolio website? I think all these things could be accomplished. You can use like Squarespace, you can like create a Wix site, all that stuff. But I think it's a fun way to do it yourself. That'd be a little more unique, showcase your skills. And yeah, owners just inherently have a huge advantage to other college students because we work on so many projects. And it's a great way to show off those projects to, for your internships or full-time positions, and like, look at all the things I did. And have the images and documentation that we love writing so much for those projects. So it's a great way. Would recommend. Definitely not. It might not get you a job, but it might be. If there's two people and one person has a cool portfolio website, it might be that foot in the door that you need to get your resume or get your application in front of folks. So definitely a fun thing to have. Yeah, this is the same slide as before. Basically, yeah, just being able to run Node, being able to write some code, being able to have ChatGPT, and you probably have a good account already, hopefully. Cool. I'll pause there for any other questions around the setup before I talk about React a little bit. And also feel free, I do have the chat up, so feel free to throw them in the chat, and I can look at those as well. Cool. Cool. I'll talk about React a little bit. And so this was mostly spit out by ChatGPT because it has a better idea of what than I do. But React is just really commonly used front-end framework. It's a JavaScript library, so websites, right? HTML is kind of the bones, CSS is the styles, and JavaScript is the language that makes it interactive. React is really, really popular right now. It was built by Facebook. It's now just kind of maintained by the larger dev community and by a bunch of Facebook folks. And it uses a virtual DOM, which I'll have one more slide after this to explain. Often use, a lot of JavaScript projects or websites use a ton of different JavaScript frameworks. React works well in conjunction with other ones. We use it at Kojo. We also use like React Native, which you can use to build mobile sites. It will compile down into Android and iOS, which is pretty cool. And yeah, the biggest, recommendation for learning React, I think, is just because of its like how widely used it is and how many folks actually use it in the kind of profession right now. Like it's not necessarily the fastest. A lot of people have complaints about it, but there are more hip frameworks like Svelte or Vue is kind of up and coming, but React is still kind of like the default that a lot of companies use. So I think it's definitely worth learning. Like Angular is kind of going down in popularity. React's just maintained a really strong position. In 3 years, that might be totally different. Who's to say? But right now, it's pretty popular, and I think relatively user friendly. Although other people would maybe argue otherwise. But what's cool about it, I think, is the virtual DOM. And so, like HTML pages, right, are made up of nodes. It's kind of this tree-like structure. And I can even, if we look at, I'm just going to go ahead and inspect my page here, and you can see a DOM, right? If you hit inspect, we can see all of our DOM elements. You can see all of these divs. And you can see this is the tree structure, right? So like we can open this up and there's some nodes underneath. Cool. We can open this up. There's some nodes underneath. Cool. We can open this up, right? And it's this massive, massive tree, especially for complex pages like this. And normally, if you had JavaScript or a normal kind of like static HTML, CSS, JavaScript page, you use JavaScript to make updates. The whole page has to re-render because it doesn't know what updated. What makes React cool is that it has a virtual DOM. So basically React itself keeps in memory a copy of the DOM. And And rather than having to re-render the whole page, React is smart and will first, in its virtual DOM, you can see this red and right, if we change an element here, cool, this red one has been changed, and then calculates, okay, if this node is changed, what else is going to have to be changed? Everything kind of lower down on the tree that is going to be affected. Okay, so these are the two things that actually have to change, right? This other side didn't change. Like if you have, 5 pages or 5 different blocks, and just like the third one changed, you don't have to make any changes to the first two. And so it'll send just this diff, basically, all right, here what's changed. That's what it'll send to the browser. So the browser doesn't really know what's changed, doesn't know what's changed, and then React says, hey, just this component, these a couple nodes right here, these are new ones, just flip those out for the old ones. So it doesn't have to re-render the whole page, it just re-renders those specific elements, which is cool. It's like why these sites are kind of live updating, why they feel snappy, while you don't have to actually see the whole page refresh each time. It's very, very common right now. So that's makes React cool. And for the purpose of this, we don't really need to know much more than that. That's React. ChatGPT, you might have messed around with before. It's very hip right now. It's very in the news, how it's going to ruin people's jobs, all that sort of fun stuff. We don't need to dive into it because I don't really understand how it works. Not a lot of people, I think, really understand how it works. I think a lot of people want to tell you that they understand how it works, and they probably don't really understand how it works. Trained on just like a huge amount of text across the internet. I'm sure it's scraped all like kind of public, like all Stack Overflow, I'm sure has been trained on all that sort of stuff. We're going to be using the 3.5 architecture. ChatGPT 4 just came out just a couple of days ago, which we could use. It just a lot slower right now, and we're rate limited to like 25 messages. That might not be enough, so we're going to use 3.5. I pulled this off OpenAI's website. I guess this is how they train the data. I don't really understand it that well, but it's cool. If you want to dive into it, take a look. And basically, what we can, we can ask it questions and it will spit out answers, right? And that's basically all the purpose we need for this workshop. I think what's also pretty cool is that it keeps the context of previous answers when it's writing the new answers, right? So you can ask when we like write some code, and we'll ask it to write code, and we'll see in the workshop. It'll keep the reference to other stuff that we've already talked about, right? It's not answering blind each time. It's basically passing in, like for the next question I ask, like, what's your favorite type of dog? It'll keep all this context in that, which wouldn't be that helpful, but you'll see that as we go along. But really helpful for writing code. There's a lot of other coding tools like Copilot and that people are using to help actually in their text editor. We're not going to be doing that. We're just basically using a bunch of copy and paste, and it should work out for us all right. But yeah, if you don't have a ChatGPT account, go sign up. It's free, and you can start messing around alongside me. But I think that's it. Before we jump into it, any other final questions? Any setup questions before we jump into it? Are people ready with a terminal with Node? Give me a thumbs up reaction in Slack or in Zoom. Got a thumbs up.
Yeah.
All right, we can all do Node-V and we see a version. All right, love it.
Oh,
cool.
Your version is 6 versions newer than mine, and I just installed.
Matt, oh man, I couldn't tell you. This is like my work computer. I mean, probably should have a separate computer, but I use my work computer basically for everything. And so I wonder if it's something related to that. I couldn't tell you. But anyways, well, I could start doing it, but what we're going to do actually is ask. We're going to ask. So say I'm going to create a new chat here. I'm in ChatGPT. I have ChatGPT Plus because I pay $20 a month. Look at me, big spender. And we can just ask like, how would I set up? And it'll spit out some stuff for us. Cool, yeah, install Node. Cool, so if you've installed Node already, you probably haven't installed Create React App. And so here is your code. I'll even paste that in chat. Okay, I'm not gonna be able to paste all these commands in the chat probably. Also, one thing is like, if we type the same, if we type slightly different, like I don't think, like we're probably gonna get different answers to our responses. So like, inherently, as we're going through this, yours is going to look a little different than mine, and that's okay. We're just messing around. We're just trying to get a live website, and I can help debug if we need to. But yeah, we're gonna follow these steps. Oh, I don't think this is actually what we're gonna do. We need to do npx. So I'll do npx create React app, and then you just have space and give it a name. So we're going to do Keenan's portfolio, and it'll start just generating a bunch of code. This will take like a minute.
We have I need to install npx right now, so there we go.
Okay, yeah, it'll tell you if you need to do stuff. I don't know if you need to. That's just how I've done it. You might be able to just npm install it, or I don't know, what does ChatGPT say? Funny putting this as Lua code, which isn't right at all. So we're definitely going to find the inconsistencies here, which will be fun.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
I'm using Windows, so
Yeah.
where exactly do I pull up a terminal? Like I have VS Code and I was trying to do it in there, but I don't think the commands are quite the same.
Yeah, all right, great question. Let's see, like running a node in Windows, I think they're called like PowerShell. I did an internship at Microsoft and selected default shell. Okay. Okay, there is a terminal within VS Code. Will it let you do it within VS Code if you open the terminal?
Yeah, I have a terminal open.
If you type, yeah, like node-v.
Yeah,
does it give you a version?
Error.
So I wonder where it's actually living. I wish I could. I don't know how to replicate here. Is PowerShell? Is anyone else running on Windows right now that knows how to? I haven't used Windows in many years. I don't really know what PowerShell is. Try node on VS Code. There's a React app tool chain. What's a tool chain? On Windows subsystem for Linux? Oh boy. Yeah, maybe try downloading Windows subsystem for Linux. I don't know. Open up a terminal. Okay. Windows command prompt or PowerShell. Can you open the Windows command prompt?
Probably. Let's see. Get extensions. Yeah, so I did install the node extension through VS Code. I think the issue is just with the terminal. You can.
Yeah, maybe you can't use like the in VS Code terminal.
What's it called? Windows PowerShell or
PowerShell's Windows command prompt maybe.
Okay. No. Okay.
You type command prompt on the lower left of your Windows toolbar, it should come up.
Yes, I've got it now. Let's see.
For the other folks, as you try to get that working, you should now see a folder called Keenan's portfolio or whatever you did. You can see Olin test, portfolio test. And we can open that up in our VS Code or wherever. Keenan's portfolio. And there should be a bunch of stuff in there. So it has this big frickin' folder of node modules, which is very bloated, but we'll mostly be working out of the source directory. And there'll be some stuff. And once you're in that navigate into that. If you just do npm start, it's basically the only command we'll need. And we'll just start up our development server. And we should get something that looks like this. Isabella, how are you doing? Is it working?
Not sure. I'm gonna do some more Googling.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, we'll keep going in this, and hopefully you can catch up. Looks like, oh, there's something in the chat about the checkbox or get extensions for VS Code. Yeah, maybe that is helpful. But anyways, we're gonna have our basic React app. And so for the other folks, do we see people see just their local host? They have it running for that basic React. Thumbs up. See a thumbs up from Alexis.
Still working on installing
Okay.
installing node 14 or later. So I think that I just
Yeah, you might need a later version. That's funny if you just installed it and it was on a pre-14 version. That's funny.
Yeah. It was that was the apt one. So if you do sudo apt install, it gives you node 12.
Oh, I wonder if like that Ubuntu version pinned like a certain node version.
Yeah, but this is 22.04.
Me too. Yeah. I don't know.
Version. Strange, but I think that this will fix it. Let's see. Node -b. Still 12. Oh gosh. Okay, never mind.
There's also, I've always been not a fan of this kind of setup, lower level like infrastructure. There's DevOps folks at our company that deal with these questions. I think we use like MVM, which is Node Version Manager, which allows you to switch versions. I don't know if that's actually what you want, because then you can easily like switch to Node 14 or 16. You can do NVM use, but I don't know if that's actually going to be helpful or just going to add more problems here.
Oh, I think.
It wants you to do some other stuff. Downloading from the source. LTO, long-term support, sure. Version am I on again? You want to? I'll put this in the chat. That's the version that I'm on. I know it works. All right. Should I keep going or should I wait until we're all on the same page here? What's more helpful?
It's
happy to
possible
wait.
that I think that I might have needed to restart my terminal because I'm at 19.8.
Oh yeah.
Now.
Yep.
Tough. Okay, so I might have gotten it with the NVM update or NVM NPM
use-
update.
Yeah.
Izzy, how are you doing?
Not bad. I have made a directory and I have a file called app.js. So
I think that you've done it then.
I'm doing
That's-
most of it. I'm not sure if I have the React part installed.
Yeah, so we use the Create React app, which kind of does all that stuff for us.
Mhm.
In your terminal, can you try? Yeah, can you try doing that? Will that work?
Yeah, it's still giving me an error for some reason.
What's it saying?
A whole bunch. The term npm is not recognized as the name
Okay.
of the commandlet.
If you do, yeah, node-v, does it give you something?
Yeah, the term node is not recognized.
Okay. Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't have node, I guess, in your Windows bit. Yeah, because if you don't have node, then I don't think I'll be able to run your development terminal.
All right, I will keep working.
Okay.
Doc Yoon and Gabby, are you also doing this as we go through, or are you just observing?
I got to the React part
Nice.
and I have a local host screen.
I'm just
Love it.
observing.
Cool.
Me
All
too,
right.
Gabby.
All right. Well, I'll keep going here. And now we get to the fun part where we're just gonna like ask it for stuff, and then it's gonna spit out stuff, and we're gonna copy and paste it. Yeah. So let's jump into it. We have our basic React app spinning here, and let's make a portfolio website. Also, like, be nice. Like, you don't need to like say please and thank you every time, but like, don't be mean to the AI. You know, just put more good energy into the world. Just as a side note. Make a portfolio website. I can't spell. Using Create React app for an engineer named Enan. See what we get. Oh, we've already done that bit. Oh, interesting. It added a bunch of dependencies. Axios. Oh, interesting. It thinks I have a backend. That's hilarious. API.github.users.human/repos. That's not what we want at all. And then, yeah, I basically ran out of space. And so I'm going to ask it for something a little simpler. This is React Router. And so React Router is what's going to be able to like go between the pages. So, you know, we'll have one page and you click a different link and I'll go to a different page. It's called React Router. Let's see if we can do a new one here. Has an about page, and it's looking a little better. Projects.
What was the name of the package we used just now?
Yeah, it's called React Router DOM.
Okay.
I'll need to put this, I'll place this in the chat. I'll need to npm install, just, you know, you can get out of here and I'll do it here too. You stop your server, npm install React Router DOM. Make sure that we have that package. I think that's what we're gonna name it. You can npm start again. All right, let's check out what it, oops. Yep. Let's look at what it, that's better. Yeah, I think this is about what I was expecting it to do. And so I'm just gonna basically copy and paste all this and we're gonna see what it looks like. This is in my app file. And then we're going to create some new components, I think. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I'm going to do this slightly differently. I'm going to create a new folder called the components just to make it a little more clear. I don't know, I did in the past, it told me to do this, and this time it didn't. But and we're going to have our about.js. We're going to have, oops, going to add some new files. We're going to have home.js. We're going to have port portfolio.js. I'm also going to add a contact.js. I think that's that's pretty common. And I'm going to basically ask it the app.js again, but with the
I'm getting a very similar response on my end too.
Okay, yeah. From a components folder and also a contact page. This, like, I can copy and paste this. It's probably all right, but I want these to import from a components folder rather than the home directory, and that's just a small thing. And I also want a contact page, and we'll see what it spits out. And so you can see now how this is updated to a components folder as opposed to just the root directory. That's pretty nice. And it added a contact page. Great. Oh, it has project instead of portfolio. Keenan@eden.com. I wish I had that. Can you update projects to portfolio, please? In app.js. And it does a pretty good job at that too. And so this is the one I'm going to copy and paste, and I already know that there's going to be an issue with it. But I will get to that in a sec. Okay. So here's the new app. I'm going to also copy and paste these. Here's our contact page. We can just keep these components really, really basic for now. Let's see, where did I have the other ones? Here's my about page. Website for Keenan, an engineer. That is me. I have expertise in software development and data analysis. I would not say I have expertise in data analysis, but I'm really glad it thinks so. And then let's ask it for, well, we'll just do a really basic, I'll just copy this basically and put it in portfolio. Oops. We'll export here. Projects. Great. Okay, so we should have now, we've created these new components. These are just really, really simple React components that just are returning just some basic HTML. Oh yeah, what's also cool about React is that you can basically write your HTML within a JavaScript context. And so we can do some JavaScript stuff up here, right? We can console.log, which is a JavaScript thing. But then right here in our return thing, we have our HTML. That's another cool thing that makes it very nice to work with. Cool. If we go back, that I was expecting, that we have an error and it's going to say export switch was not found. And I know why, but let's see if ChatGPT knows why. I got an error. I'm just going to copy and paste that error. Interesting. Oh, interesting. That's not quite right. It's not the wrong way to debug, but I've done this before, so I know the actual problem here. So it thinks that making sure we've installed router, which is definitely important. It says, oh, you might have the wrong ones. You can delete your node modules and reinstall. You can make sure you're on the latest version of React Router, which is very funny because the problem is actually that we are on the latest version, and the latest version actually does not support switch anymore. There's a different component for that. Let's see if it knows on the latest version of React. router DOM. Does that still support switch? Let's see if it knows. Oh, no, it's not right. And this is why it's it's very confident that it still supports switch, and it does not. I'm pretty sure the latest version of router DOM doesn't use switch anymore. It uses routes. I wonder if it probably doesn't matter that I misspelled that. Oh, you're correct. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yes, version 6 no longer uses switch, it uses routes.
Wow, so you just had an argument with the computer in one?
I guess so. It was so confident too. It was
Yeah.
like, yeah, I'm pretty sure it does. I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure it does. Cool, and this will update how we do it. So let's try that. We'll just copy and paste this whole shebang into our app, and hopefully do we render now? We do. All right, and we have a really basic website. We can click home. That should be this page. We can click about, goes to an about page. We can click portfolio, my project. We can click contact. We have a relatively functional website here that has some really basic routing.
How did we get the localhost up and running? I don't know what's
Yeah, if you're in their terminal and you're like in your new folder that you just made,
yeah.
all you need to do is hit npm start, and it should
Okay.
spin it up. It should like open a like new window with localhost 3000.
Okay, and then it did have the debugging error, or it had the errors. Okay.
Yeah, and so if it had like if you haven't installed the right packages, it might have some error. Like that case, it like said, hey, it's looking for switch, but switch doesn't exist in React Router DOM, the latest version that we're using. Also, if you want to check on versions, there's a thing called our package.json. And so, React is a package, but there's all these other packages that we're using also. And so create React app by default, like install some like testing stuff, some React scripts. I don't know what that is. Web Vitals. I don't know what that is either.
It looks like we need an npm run. No.
Should be npm start is the
npm
script.
Start. It's missing the start script.
Oh, interesting. You don't have this in your package JSON?
Nope.
Whoa.
It's just the React Router DOM dependencies.
Interesting. And you did to make this folder, you did the create React app?
Yeah.
Huh. Wonder if that create React app is on an old version.
Possibly. Can I do create React app -v?
I don't know.
See?
I also have the switch error.
The switch error, yeah.
Yeah, how did you fix it?
Yeah, so I would basically just tell ChatGPT this, and then I copied and pasted. But basically, you need to import, instead of switch, you need to import routes instead.
Okay.
And then wherever your switch component is, if you replace it with routes,
Yeah.
and then rather than link, there should be an element and path the element. So it's slightly different. Cool. Version here, is that gonna? Yeah, I don't know if you can fix with. And it's not really like its own package. Yeah, I would maybe try reinstalling create React app. I wonder if, again, similar to your other node environment, it's pinned to a specific version in Ubuntu. It looks like it's on version 5 right now. Oh, interesting. Yeah, so it says if you previously installed globally, they suggest you uninstall. Oh, and use npx instead of node. You'd be on node 14 or more. Yeah. Or I guess you can also use yarn. I know yarn's also hot right now. Anyways. Cool, so we have our basic site and it looks kind of bad, but it worked. I think the next step I would think for making a portfolio website would be to add like a nav bar across the top with these links rather than just have them sitting up here. And so that's what I'm going to ask to do. I apologize for the confusion earlier. That is helpful. That's okay. Let's now create a nav bar component. Switch between pages. Cool. And it's going to basically ask us for a new navbar component, which I think sounds good to me. Before it even finishes, I'm going to start navbar.js. Great. Blindly copy and paste what is in here. Cool. Go back. It's now cool. It's now putting the navbar just at the top of our about page. That looks good to me. I also have to check because in the past when I've been trying this, it like went back to the switch rather than the routes. So it's not it gets you, but it looks like it did okay here. Great, we'll go back to app. I'm just gonna copy and paste the whole thing again. We'll go back. It should, I guess, really look the same. That's now its own component, which is good. So that works the same. But now, I think comes the fun part, which is we have our really basic setup, but now we can ask for some styles. And there are a lot of different ways. You can use like different component libraries. So you could use something which I'm sure folks have seen before of like material UI that have all these different we can install and that has all these like components kind of pre-built out for us. And this will work for sure. And they'll definitely look good. I think a lot of things they use like material design, they all kind of look the same. So I think instead we're just gonna write some custom CSS. And by we, I mean ChatGPT. I'm not gonna write any CSS myself. That's what we have tools like this for. But definitely something to consider would be a library like that, but we're not going to. We're just gonna say add some style. Is it responsive and modern? Cool. You can just throw an adjective to see what it does. So it's going to add some classes to our component. That looks good. And it's going to add a bunch of styles. I'm just going to blindly copy and paste this. And we're going to add a new file in my nav bar. To import the CSS file, so I'm going to make a new file here. It looks like it's just importing it from the same directory. Again, where to put your CSS, we could maybe make a new folder and we can have both these co-located, whatever. I'm just going to make it in the same folder just because that's easy. And that's what ChatGPT asked. And I'm going to just copy all of the CSS that it's put out. Looks like some little box shadow, position sticky, the index 999. Again, I'm not saying these are going to be best practices, but we're just trying to get something up and running quickly with low effort. And let's see what we get. Yeah, that's fine. Looks like they hover. They have the routing still. I don't hate it. I don't love it. I asked it to be responsive. Let's see what happens when I change the screen size. It doesn't really do much. That's fine. I'm going to add a little more modern responsive style. And some React icons. In addition to the text. And when the screen is small, only the icons show. And if I wanted some icons, it looks like we're gonna have to install another package. So I'm gonna just copy that and go back out, install some icons. And npm start again. And then see if we can get our nav bar to be a little more fun. Yeah. Cool, and I'm just gonna copy and paste this whole thing again. In our nav bar, we have our icon. So it looks like it got rid of the titles. So I might have to ask it for the titles again. Even though I said next to the titles, it's okay. I'm not mad, just disappointed. Let's see what this looks like. Oh, it looks like it broke something. Module build failed. Funny. Oh, it looks like it just didn't complete. And in addition to the icons. Yeah, I think I want that back. Cool. And hopefully it finishes the CSS bit this time. Icon class, the link text, yeah. And if it doesn't finish like this, you can just ask, please finish the CSS file. Or is it going to rebuild the whole thing? Oh, it looks like it's going to do the whole thing. That's okay. I think there is some limit to how much text it can spit out, which is fine. Sometimes you have to ask it for a little bit more. Fortunately, it's pretty quick. Okay. Copy this. Start here. What do we got? Okay, we have our icons. If I refresh, do we have the text? Oh, we still don't have the text. That's funny. But this probably looks good on a small screen though. Huh. Oh, that's funny. It has the text when you go small, but not the text if you're large. It was like close.
Mobile first.
Mobile first.
What was the thing that we used? Switch versus another thing? Switch versus
Yeah, it's called routes.
routes.
Yeah. And you can ask for the new version. That's not a good example. But I'll just show my code. It's a lot here. Yeah, so it's linked in routes, and then it has an element that gets passed in rather than a component. I think it was before or something. All right, I was asking it. I want the text to show. Even understand that. All right, that's just the media query here. That at media query, I mean, it's basically looking for the screen size and adjusting styles accordingly. See if that switched it. No, it doesn't look like it did. We can always try to do it ourselves. Let's see, link text. Right. I'm just gonna remove that. And we're gonna switch link text icon display. We're just gonna change this. here. We're gonna do it the old-fashioned way. So now when we get small, all right, that's it's not great, but it's better. I'm gonna call it good enough for now. Because okay, we have about half an hour left. Okay, I want to work on some other stuff. So I think that actually looks all right. Yeah, definitely we could, if we wanted to get more responsive, we could get more responsive. But that looks kind of fine to me. The portfolio and the homepage go the same. Contact. Let's maybe do a quick about page with a little bit more information. Let's now fill out the about page. It should be about an engineer named Keenan who has skills in JavaScript, React, Node, and more. And let's see what it does. Engineer based in city country. Great.
I like city country. That's
I
fun.
love, yeah, it's a great place. Great food there. I specialize in web development and have experience with the following technologies. Okay, nice. SQL, barely. Oh, but before I do that, I'm going to ask it for some styles. Okay, great. Now let's add some styling to that page to make it look way better. I want it to look way better, you know, not just a little better. I want it to look way better. Let's see what it does. Okay, it's interesting. It only added not a lot of classes. Okay, yes, we're just editing the links themselves. That's probably fine.
Can ChatGPT determine between a little bit better and way better?
We'll see. We'll see. I mean, it's all just like basing this on this huge language that it has in the past, or that it's like scraped. And so like in theory, it'll do something different, but it's really hard to say if it like knows the difference. Like it's just looking for like references of something that's, you know, better versus way better. Cool. Yeah, that looks all right.
I'm in my app right now and it's just a blank page, but I do have all of my like contact home portfolio pages like in here. What do you think might be the cause of that?
You just see a blank page. Yeah, in your
React app.
yeah, do you have like an index.js file that looks something like this?
Yes.
Cool. And then does it, yeah, it links to app. And you have an app.js file.
Let's see, app. There is no app.js in here, or there's import app from /app.
Yeah, in your index file here.
Yeah.
But you don't have an actual app.js file.
Yep, app.js and CSS are both here.
Yeah. Because yeah, this app.js, like our index, you know, index is kind of like the root, right? It's like what we're going to be calling by default. And basically this just like creates React and imports the app component. And our app component is kind of our main component, like our base page. So in our case, like that's where the router lives. It's going to have the nav bar. And then it has all of the routes to all of our different pages. And so like if we add some stuff here, right? If we just like add a div and say hello, it should show up just like on our main, the top of our screen, right? Because it'd be above our nav bar. This should like control main stuff, but you might not have anything yet because it doesn't actually hold, like we don't go to these pages unless we're on that route. And so you could test that by like, you know, going to /contact, like does it automatically reroute you to that contact page or not? If you don't have your nav bar set up yet. Does that make sense?
Okay, now it's giving the route error. That's good. Okay. And
Yeah, route error is good.
Yeah, nice. Can't resolve components projects. Okay, great. So that just means that there's a missing projects page that I didn't add yet, I don't think.
Yeah,
I didn't do projects.
Yeah, it might do the naming, might be portfolio instead of projects. It can be bad about that sort of stuff.
Oh, cool.
Cool. Yeah, that I think is fine. I want to get to the more into like we could definitely, I was gonna maybe, you know, add more styles, like add like little, you know, slider bars or add, you know, silly stuff around here, but I want to get to the other pages. let's do the contact page real quick, because that's also, I think, less important. The portfolio page is the real more interesting one. Great. And you now add a contact form and some more content to the contact.js page, along with some styles to make it look fresh and neat. I think we're going to go with. I didn't repeat that back to me with some additional content and style. Yeah, that's fine. And with adding some icons though, that might be fresh and neat. I'm just gonna copy and paste this into my contact page. It is also asking for a contact.cs. Oh, it has the mail too. We could actually, you know, I'll change this to my real email. So I'll actually, it's not my phone number, obviously. Oh, okay, this is interesting. This might, these styles might overwrite existing styles. Like container might be used in other places too. This might mess up other things, I wonder. Let's see what it looks like. Oh yes, you can see how these turn blue. I think that's because I don't hate it. So interesting. So we could also ask it to make a contact form, which a lot of sites have that. You make the classes unique so they don't collide with other components. And you update the contact page to have a form, contact form instead. Let's see. Oh, interesting. Looks like it didn't do the form bit, or at least made the classes unique. Oh, nope, now it's adding a form. Okay, so it's doing both of these. That's fine. I'm going to copy this now. Pages here. I'm actually going to put my real email in here also. Cool. And let's see, it should have spit out the CSS by now. Did I get it all? No, it didn't. I'm just going to ask it for the whole thing so I can copy and paste blindly, which is what we're learning, you know, just copy and paste. You don't need much more. Looks like it's doing a bunch of stuff. Ooh, it's adding some box shadow. I love it. Some borders. I was trying the other day to see if it could make like a cat just using CSS and HTML. And it was, it looked promising. It didn't look very good. Maybe we have time, we can try again. All right, I'm gonna try this again. Go back to our page. Yeah, it's looking a lot better. It looks like there's a form here. You can't really see the input fields. But it looks kind of legit. My name is Tess. My email is coming from is, use my work email. My message is howdy. If I submit this, it should. Oh, interesting. It's pulling up some routes. It's not actually doing anything. That probably would be relatively easy to fix, at least like pull up your, oh yeah, on submit. Yeah, nothing happens on submit. Fair enough. So you do have this mail too, but I don't want to spend too much more time with that because I only have 20 minutes left. That like looks all right. Our about page looks all right. Let's jump into the portfolio bit because that's, I think, the most important one. So we're going to go back. And we're going to say, okay, great. Let's move on to the portfolio page. I want the data to, or actually, I'm curious what it's going to say. Yeah, this is what I was thinking. It's just going to like hard code a bunch of stuff, which is fine. But this isn't going to be as fun if we have a bunch of projects we want to easily pull from them. So I'm going to ask to do something else. Pulling some placeholder picture, just some lorem ipsum, some links. That's not bad. I think it's pretty common. Like, you know, if you wanted to actually have, you know, like an API endpoint that retrieves all your information, I think it makes more sense just to have like a JSON file of all of your projects and information, and then we can render them dynamically. That's what makes React cool. So I'm going to ask for that. Page data from a projects.json file. Nice. This is more, you know, we have all of our projects kind of aligned here, and then it kind of dynamically render them. Oh, it's actually trying to fetch them. Not quite right. I'm just going to stop generating. But can. So we're going to have the following structure. Yeah. Great. I guess we can copy this as it's generating. We're just going to have a projects.json file here. Projects.json. Copy and paste, that looks fine. And let's see. Yeah, this is a little bit more what I was thinking. Let's see what that looks like. And so it's basically going to import that projects.json file, and we're also need our CSS file. Portfolio.css and iterate over. Give me some CSS too. Nope. I want each project to be rendered. I want like a responsive grid of projects, each one in a hard. Let's try that. I'm actually using CSS grid. Interesting. We'll see how that works. Item description, button hover, doing some responsiveness. All right, let's give it a go. Let's check it out. Oh man, the whole page does. Love it. Let's see. Look at me an error. There it is. Projects.map is not a function. Okay, cool. So we can look into that. Let's see. Projects, import projects from projects.json. I'm just gonna console.log. Need some debugging. Is it getting anything here? Looks like it is. Ah, see, this is. Oh, it is it's an object called project. So it looks like it's. Where's my projects.json? Interesting. I think what we really want is it to be more like this, just an array, or I think what it's expecting, not have a key field called project. Yeah, that's more like it. Yeah, that looks, I mean, kind of crappy, but not the worst. Let me go back. Let's see. Where am I? Portfolio. It's not, interesting. Project 3 is the way down below. I think also would be nice to have a view project. We're not actually go anywhere. I think these would be better if they each went to their own page when we viewed them. But maybe let's first get the styles a little better. Okay. All right, let's see what it does if I ask it to be nicer. It doesn't really know what nicer is, but we're gonna give it a go. It might just be the same thing. All right, let's try. Copy this, paste the whole thing. Ah, that is nicer. sometimes it works. Cool.
Way nicer.
Way nicer. And no, those have some kind of responsiveness, even though our top bar kind of looks bad, but those respond in the grid, which we like. Cool. View project. Yeah, what's it doing right now? It has view project, project.link. Interesting. So we don't have a project.link. Oh, these are all just. Got it. Okay, so let's do something now. Let's make this our projects.data some actual projects that we'll kind of make up. Let's make the projects.json file better. For the images, please use pick some or random images. And here are the projects I want. Cool. Building this website. Creating a mobile app for Kojo. I'm trying to think of what projects I've done. A hackathon project called #gloves. That was a thing hackathon project my freshman year of Owen. Google it if you want some very weird results. Cool. A project team called Baja.
That's wild. You actually got on today. Like,
Yeah,
#gloves exist.
it was a trip. That could be a whole other workshop, was how the stupid hackathon project we did somehow went viral, and like all these people were like calling us asking for this information, and all the information was getting changed. And yeah, it was a wild time. I'll just do that. And as you can see, it's still keeping that project. We can just delete that manually. But it is, it's choosing some photos. Okay, that's not bad. Let's try it. We're gonna just manually get rid of this again. And refresh. Yeah, that does look a little bit better. Oh, we got some raspberries with some artsy background. Yeah. I like it. Cool. And yeah, okay, we have 10 minutes left. Yeah, I think I would like each of these to be their own page, because I think that's an also interesting bit, right? We have our about page, we have our contact page. But our portfolio would be nice if these actually routed to a separate page when we said view project. And so we can hopefully just ask it for that, because they do have IDs already. Like each project to be a separate page. All right, let's see what it does. Assuming that you have a project component, which we do not. But I will make one. Project.js. Project.css. Okay, and we'll fill that out later. Cool, and so we're gonna have to change our portfolio, which makes sense. Oh, cool. So yeah, so you can see now it's using our React router. It's putting a link around this whole project. So when you click it, it'll go to that page. We're also going to have to do, oh yeah, so here's an example, right? So it's asking us to update that route where it forgot about the switch. And so it's using the switch again. Oh, and here's the React. Okay. Okay, show me the project JS file again. And it's styling, please. And so I'm just basically going to manually projects. Oh, it's interesting. So it got some of these routes messed up. I'm going to manually do this one, just so we don't have to ask it again. You have another one. It's called project, and it's going to have a route. We're going to call it. And this one's a little bit different because we have this unique ID. So it's going to be a dynamic route. Basically, what that means is we do this. We do this. And then let's see, did it spit out that project page for us? It did. Back to project. Where am I? Get rid of the contact. Project. Great. And project CSS. Did it finish? It did. Okay, great. Okay, let's see if that works. I might have messed something up here. Oh, yeah, okay. Okay, looks like some of our import paths failed. Let's see which ones. This one .up projects. This is not 2 folders back. It's just in the same folder. So we're going to do this. That should work. Great. Okay, so we have our portfolio, and if we click on one of these, interesting, it almost works. It's running to the right pages. I think I might know the issue. And so let's go to our project page. Oh, interesting. Let's try to get it through props, but we're not actually passing it props. This is funny. When I was doing this earlier, it spit out a different. Okay, that project.js page again, but get the from the params instead of props. Yeah, use params is what I was looking for. We should have just copied these lines here. Basically, you know, instead of trying to pass in something, we're just going to pull in the ID from, oh, it probably needs to use params. Let's see, so it's being imported. Yeah, okay. And we'll see if this find works. I guess it might. Are the props as numbers? Oh, they are. I guess this might work. Oh, it still doesn't. Okay. Interesting. We're close. I'm going to just try to debug this one manually. Project. Does it have a project? My guess is it won't. Oh, weird. It's not even getting to this page. Interesting. Project. We're exporting project. Oh, that's why. This should be, I think it's project. What we called it in our nav bar, no, in our portfolio page. Projects, okay, we'll try this again. Oh, okay, all right, so now it can't find fine, that's better. There we go. All right, so now if we click one, we should go to the individual projects. Nice. And these have links that don't mean anything. All right, so we have about 5 minutes left. We have a really basic site, but there's some kind of fun stuff I wanted to show off also. This is just kind of like the basics, right? I think we have a semi-functional. We haven't done anything with our home site, but that's fine. We have some basic CSS. We can add some like better CSS for sure. So I'm going to do this on this portfolio page because I feel like that could be improved. Back to the portfolio.js component. Can you add some styles to the cards and make them you add some cool styles to the cards? Before it's like given some little like animation or some box shadow or some, looks like, yeah, here's a little transition, which shows something I'm looking for. So hopefully this will make it look a little better. And hopefully won't make our, go back to that old version of our portfolio page, which kind of looked bad. Portfolio CSS, copy and paste the whole dang thing. Oh yeah, look at that. That is cool. Well, animates in, it just shows the project. It's a little bit hard to read with that view project. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. And so there are a bunch of stuff you can do, and it still should be. Oh, that's really nice. Oh yeah, so it just shows them in where there are some really nice things that it can do. That would be probably harder to figure out on your own than doing all together. I'm gonna show a couple other fun stuff that I had. Let's add some content and styles to the home page. I want the background to be a gradient that slowly changes color. So there's a bunch of stuff I was just thinking of, like what would be weird to add. Based out of San Francisco, that is true. All right, we're gonna copy this into our home bucket here. Oh, we need our home.css page. All right, let's see if it's doing it. Oh, it looks like it. No, it's still going. Oh yeah, it's really doing some stuff here. I'm excited to see what this does. Oh, it didn't finish. I just want you to finish. Don't need to do the whole thing again. Oh, I did it the whole thing again, which I guess is helpful because we can copy and paste the whole thing, but it can be a little slow.
They're actually quite generous with the free version as well. I was expecting to run out of like requests during this extended period.
Yeah, I think if you're using the old version, I don't know if there's a limit. It's just like I think it might get slower.
Oh, interesting. Okay, that makes sense.
Like there is a limit to like DALL-E. It's like image generation. You only get so many credits. But I think ChatGPT they have like on the older versions free, unless they've changed that recently. Oh, this is gonna be good. I hope. All right, let's check it out. Wow. I mean,
Whoa.
that is a gradient. It doesn't seem like it's moving, is it? Is it changing?
It's static.
It's static. I thought so too. Oh, wait, that changed?
Yeah.
Pretty good though. Oh, it's funny. Change back on 30 seconds. Okay, if I change it to 1 second. Oh, there it is. That was what I was looking for. That's exactly what I was looking for. It's a
Whoa.
little jarring, but it's not bad. Actually, I can tell it's a little jarring. And can you make it a little more subtle, please? Well, jarring. With more subtle colors. This one is just a 30-second change. Like who has time for that? Oh yeah, there are a couple other small things. I know we are at the official time. If folks need to jump off, I know there's a lot of Olin-y stuff to work on. So definitely feel free to. I will not be offended. Oh, I also want to show the deploying to a live website. So I'm probably going to go for another, I don't know, maybe 15 minutes if people want to stay, maybe 20, just to show off some more kind of fun stuff. We're doing a lot of the grunt work, but now we're doing the fun stuff. Oh, I didn't even finish. Interesting.
I'll stay. This is cool.
Please continue from the media. All right, so I'm gonna wonder if this color is a little bit more subtle. Oh, it's gonna be grayscale. That's not what I wanted. Oh, that's really funny. That's all I wanted. Yeah, that's certainly something. I think I liked it better before.
Has a San Francisco vibe to it.
It sure does. Yeah.
Gray and
Foggy.
overcast.
Yeah. Cool. Well, let's go to the maybe about page, or I don't know, like where can we just mess around with stuff? Actually, maybe we can keep it on this page. I'm just gonna go back, I think, to the rainbow and just add. Let's see if I do this. Opacity of like 0.3. Let's see if that fixes. Yeah, okay, that's a little bit better, a little less jarring. That's a little fast. I think I want to go back to maybe 5 seconds. Yeah, also very San Francisco. Shout out. Cool. Let's keep adding silly stuff. Well, yeah, another thing is like you can ask it like, okay, this is cool. I'd like my home page to have a little more flair. What's something silly I can add? Like ask it for suggestions. A button that plays a sound? Sure. Yeah, let's add a button that plays a sound. I'm worried what it's going to sound like. Oh, it's an air horn. Air horn club sample, is that real? Oh, I hope this is real. I really don't know if this is going to work. Oh, I needed a new button. Oh, the button transforms. Oh, this is brilliant. Okay, I hope this works. Wanted a new component called button. Wanted button.css. And here. All right, I don't know if you're gonna be able to. Oh, interesting. How did it change the rest of my styles here? Home background. Oops. Did not have home background anymore. Oh, it does. Funny. Okay, I don't know if this is gonna do anything on your end. Oh my God. Did people hear that? It made an absolutely ridiculous air horn sound.
I couldn't
No, I
hear it.
didn't hear it.
Maybe for the best. Wait, I think I can. There's a share audio. Oh, I don't ever remember how to do this. Share computer sound. Okay. I think y'all will be able to hear this now. Ready? Did you hear that?
Yep. That's awesome. Very cool.
It's aggressive, or at least. Oh, okay. So I don't. This is here. Okay, so this import I think is incorrect. And it also didn't add the CSS. So that's, I think, the problem. Oh yeah. And it's not getting the button. Import button. We are exporting it, class name. So I'm curious about this. So it looks like there is some fonts here and it transforms. And I want to see that on the cover. It's supposed to be red. So I'm wondering why. Oh, because it's not importing the CSS here. Okay. There we go. Yeah. That is absolutely horrendous. And I couldn't be prouder. Oh yeah, there's other fun stuff. So yeah, we're not really using too much like crazy like React stuff. It's mostly just using the components here. But we can do more of like pull in data from the internet. There's a lot of like free APIs. And so I know there's like there's like a weather one to display the current weather, which I think is kind of cool. So I'm going to ask for that. You add a section to the component that displays the current weather using the National Weather Service free API. There are a couple different, I remember when I was messing around with this yesterday, there's like a bunch of different APIs, and some like needed API keys, which are easy to get, but you have to like go through a couple steps. And there are some just APIs that are just totally free. Okay, so I did my whole thing again. I'm just gonna put in a couple bits of it rather than the whole thing. And you can see, so yeah, these use state and use effects, these are React hooks. I won't go into much detail, but they're really commonly used. And if there is weather, we're going to display the current weather. Cool. And we're going to add some styles. Great. Nice. It's 62 and clear. And so that in theory would be updated. I don't know. It's probably choosing a location. Grid points. Yes, it's using some grid. Maybe. But that's a cool thing that you can do. Not as cool as that. Let's see if there's any other. Oh yeah, there's other free APIs. Like what other free APIs could I use to add some layer to this page? News. Random quotes. Chuck Norris joke. That looks promising. NASA. Oh. A new Chuck Norris joke on the about page. Can you show me that? API.chucknorris.io. Are kids still making Chuck Norris jokes? I feel like they were like, I feel like even my generation, they weren't really doing Chuck Norris jokes. So we'll see. Looks like I also forgot about the CSS page. You can see, so sometimes you kind of see the trends as you're working with this of how it's doing stuff. I'm actually gonna do this and go right up. Deep part about that CSS. Cool. Let's see. Oh, joke container. Did it give me some styles too? It did. All right. Let's see if this is any good. Oh, okay. Well, that's not necessarily appropriate.
I don't know if that'll help you get a job.
Yeah. So maybe this isn't the best one to do. Oh my goodness. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop with the Chuck Norris jokes. Yikes. 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 Apologies for that. How about a random cat? I think there was a cat fact when we were saying that. I don't like the Chuck Norris jokes. Can we display some? Yeah. Catfact.ninja. There's some great URLs out there. All right. Let's try this instead. That's more like it. Oh, looks like my styles went away though, which is interesting. About container. Yes, it looks like we don't actually have an about container. Show me the whole about.css. A modern and minimalist design. All right, cool. I'm gonna put in my joke container, I wonder. Fact container, yeah. Because I'm still like kind of shook at Chuck Norris joke. Man, just that's why people aren't making Chuck Norris jokes anymore.
I think so.
Oh, that's better. Look at that. Random cat fact. 100 distinct breeds. All right, there's tons more, yeah, kind of gimmicks that you can do. But I think, yeah, we have the weather. Let's display that weather. Well, we don't need to worry about that. We have our portfolio page. That looks pretty good. We can go to each of these individual ones. Obviously, like if you're making your site, fill it in with the information that is relevant, with real links, that sort of thing. But the last bit is getting this out onto the world, into the internet. And there's a bunch of different ways. If you use, if you have GitHub, you can create. I'll have it tell you. How would I deploy this site using GitHub Pages? GitHub Pages will host it for free. It's definitely the easiest, or one of a pretty easy way to doing it. And it'll be like, keenanzucker.github.io, which is not bad. I already have an old website here. I wonder if it's still alive. I wonder. Looks like it's unsecured. It's not using HTTPS, so it looks like it doesn't want to load it, which I understand. But I think it's worth noting that this was, before I understood React, and I built this at Olin back in the day. And like I have my portfolio, and I just have like a CSS or an HTML file for all of the different files. And you can see like I literally have the nav bar copied and pasted in each one. And so if I wanted to like update a page or add a new page, I had to like copy the nav bar. If I wanted to change something in the nav bar, I had to go through and update every single place where that nav bar is, because we're not using components in React. Here's my really old website. Currently a senior at Olin College. There you go. I spent a lot of time working on this, but it was also all just like manual HTML and CSS. That took me like many hours, and we have something already right now. So yeah, there's some steps here if you want to use GitHub Pages. I'm going to use Vercel just because it's really easy, and it'll create a name, and this is going to take like 2 seconds. And there's a Vercel computer or CLI. I forget what it stands for, something line interface. And we can use Vercel, and it'll like automatically detect that you're using React. and like push it live out to the internet with a .vercel.app. And so I'm just going to try that in my home directory, and we can see if we can get this freaking live. Vercel. Set up and deploy. Yes. Yep. Yes, this would normally ask me to like log in with my GitHub credentials, or like my Vercel credentials. So if you have an account, you can do it like that. Link to an existing project. I guess no. Keenan's portfolio, sure. Yeah, my code is located in that directory, and I'm setting up, and it's just going to do the whole thing. No, we're not going to modify. Really good at auto detecting, which is really nice. And so there it is, building away. And I'm excited to see this absolute beautiful site. Some cat facts, some projects. A contact page that doesn't really work. But most of it's relatively functional, you know? All right, still building. Any other questions before we sign off? I know I was just going through a bunch of stuff really fast. Anything else I can help with?
This is amazing how much you got done in such a short amount of time.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's powerful. Like it's both janky and powerful at the same time, right? There's clearly a lot of issues, but like you don't need to like be that good. Like you don't really need to know what React is. Like I use React every day, but you don't really need to know. You can basically like, you know, how much actual code did we write? Like very, very little. A couple of little things that I noticed, but a lot of just copy and paste. But there we have it, right? Spit out this HTTPS teamportfolio.vercel.app. I'm gonna go to like an incognito tab just to make sure that this is real. And Darcy blows. You can try this yourself. I'll paste it in the chat. Air horn and all. I am a software engineer. I sure am. Oh, I hear other people with air horns. We have some cat facts. We have some projects. We actually had it. That's right. And we sure did. We have a contact page, but there you have it. You can get it up and running in no time. Vercel is really nice. There's a bunch of kind of a lot of deploy tools. Netlify. I don't know how to even say it. There's another very common one right now. But yeah, there we go. Any other questions here, or I'll let you all get back to your own days. Well, thank you for joining. I hope it was helpful. I'm sorry there were some installation issues. There always are, but hopefully if you want to like reference it later, you can check out the recording. But just play around with it. I'll also, you know, my email's on that site, but please, if you have any other like questions or need help with something, that's my email. Feel free to reach out, like connect me on LinkedIn, whatever the cool kids are doing these days. And I'm happy to help. It's always a pleasure talking to Ulm students and keeping that connection with the community. So yeah, that's it. Thank you all for joining. And yeah, have an awesome Thursday.
May I debug with you for a minute before you go?
Yes, totally.